What's good, everybody on YouTube? It's your boy Akil McLeod back with another live video. We are on Reseller. This is the Reseller live show. I believe this is number 6 right now, and this is dope because I'm trying to just stay consistent and I'm trying to just keep getting the word out, trying to give you guys a heads up and just keep the announcements flowing. That way we can just stay in touch. And in case you guys are going to be watching this on the playback, I'm going to be doing these shows every Thursday 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And this is just a time where if you guys have any questions, any reactions to some of my videos that I put out earlier in the week, or just anything entrepreneur, business related, reseller related, this is the time where we can just engage and just kind of answer some of those questions in more of a long form situation. So to me, I'm just having a lot of fun doing this type of stuff. I feel like as long as the conversation is good and as long as the questions are good, I'm going to continue to just keep doing these shows. And I'm going to stay on here for at least an hour every time I hop on. So waiting until a few more people hop in. So far, we got 2 people in here. Lorena Morales, what's going on? How you doing? My man Will, what's going on? How's everything going on with you? I'm glad to see some familiar faces in here. So like I said, for those of y'all that are going to be joining in later on, it's every Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if I can't do it for whatever reason, I'll definitely let you guys know in a prior video. But today, I don't have a ton of questions that I pulled. I usually pull questions from older videos because some people drop some really good questions in there. So I didn't pull too many questions. But what I did see is that somebody asked me a really good question a few weeks ago, actually. And they were asking me about when do you know, like, how to start? When would you start taking profits out of your business? And for me, I thought that was a good question because I'm one of those people. I tell people all the time, if you want to see some longevity in any business, whatever it might be, you don't want to pull profits too early. Whatever profits you get, you want to reinvest that money back into your business. That way you can see some longevity. That way you can really build up a business model, because the longer you stay with something, the more consistent you get. The more consistent you are, the better you get. So consistency has always been a very, very big thing for me. And, just not pulling profits is super important. But at the same time, what it comes down to it is the fact that eventually you will start pulling some profit. And for me, I don't think I started really taking money out of the business, maybe not until 6 months, maybe closer to between like 4 and 6 months after starting business, doing this full time. It took a while until I pulled any real profit. And when I say pull profit, I really just mean pay my bills, because I was really just trying to pay my bills, get those type of stuff done. All my responsibilities, take that, just control all of those things. And then I might have took a trip, after like the first 6 months of doing well. So I'll hop into that a little more, but let's see who else is in the chat. We got a few people in here. What's going on? How you doing? Candace is in here. What's going on? Will, again, I got 2 great reseller questions. Great to see you too, brother. That's what's up. Keep the questions coming. I'm gonna be here answering them at least for an hour. I might go a little longer today, depending on the concerns, but we'll see. What's going on, Patrick? How you doing? Got Kicks Griffey, AD salute. You already know. So like I said, when it comes down to just pulling profits out of your business, you want to try to stay as long as possible. And you want to just keep reinvesting that business back, and you want to keep reinvesting that money back into the business. And one big thing especially for those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, when I was in California and I was doing a lot of thrifting, I just tried to take advantage of those thrifts, because in that area, when I was in Santa Barbara, those Goodwills and those thrift stores in that area was insane. It was just a very, very wealthy neighborhood that I was in. So people was donating crazy expensive stuff that was brand new with tags. And occasionally you might find some brand new with tags items in thrift stores today, but they might be Calvin Klein or something from Macy's, not something so desirable. But I would get crazy stuff. And what I was doing at that point, if I'm getting it for $4 or $5, maybe even less, and it's a quick sale that turned that 4 into 30, I would literally just keep compounding that money. And it wasn't, thankfully I was able to kind of live by that motto, because once I moved and I realized thrifting wasn't as prosperous as it was before, because I didn't pull any money out of the business, I was able to flip it and start going to Ross more, start going to Burlington, start going to Nike outlets. And I tell people all the time, you need to start, everybody's budget is different. So you can start with thrift stores, but you might see yourself, venturing off onto outlets, then venturing off to wholesale on just different things that cost more money. But in the long run, it's better for you to start in a thrift store or garage sale, somewhere where you don't have a huge investment, and then you can just funnel your money into bigger projects. For me, I think a bigger project later on is going to be probably something in terms of real estate. But as of right now, like I said, I'm just really trying to push the business as far as I can get it, and eventually, move on to something else. So let's see. We got Dan Cesaro in here. What's going on? What's good? Ashley's in here. What's going on? My man A Rome. I'm currently looking for a way to check if items are selling on Amazon. Any help? I'm not an Amazon seller. Every time I've tried to get into selling onto Amazon, I never really found the motivation to keep it going. One thing you could do is download the Amazon seller app, and to find out prices and see how stuff sells, you can scan the barcode on most items. If it's a used item or if it's something without a barcode, I'm not the guy for that. But I do know I keep the Amazon seller app just in case I come across something really random that might be worth some money. Sometimes I might scan it just to see. And what you want, the lower the number, if you find something ranked 2,000, that's an item that's going to sell really fast. If it's ranked in the hundreds, it'll sell maybe within minutes. It's something that people really want. So the lower the sales rank, the better it is for you to sell that item. But outside of that, that's all I really know about Amazon. Hey, what's going on? Redneck Resale. Just found a few days ago. That's what's up. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. When you're a new reseller, how long do you wait before you drop your prices? I think that's different for everybody. I'm not one to necessarily drop my prices immediately. Some resellers will tell you they adjust their prices daily, and that's cool. You could go ahead and do that too. But for me, I don't accept offers on a lot of my items anymore. I used to play the offer game, but it just was very annoying constantly having to get lowball offers on eBay. So for me, what I like to do, I set my price competitively amongst the market. If I see something consistently selling for $69.99, that's what I'm going to price mine at. I try not to price it too much lower or too much higher. That way I can stick around that market price. And then about 30 days in, I might go back into my store and adjust the prices just in case something isn't selling. Sometimes you might be surprised that, after 30 days, you might be the only person with that item. So now you might want to raise your prices because you have no competition. So I always just try to do that. And maybe every 30 days or so, I'll go in, sometimes a little sooner, but it just depends, because you definitely want to stay consistent in your store, consistent activity, whether that means changing up your titles, going in, just refreshing some listings. You make sure to do that, but I don't change my prices too much. I try to just be a little patient and then wait until the right buyer comes along. Now, let's see. Do you feel like the virus hurt or helped the e-commerce business? I think it helped. I think it definitely helped. I think it's so many people that was at home, nothing to do, just shopping. Tons and tons of my friends were telling me that they were just at home ordering stuff off of Amazon. They were constantly getting Amazon packages home. I know my sales didn't necessarily suffer. Thankfully, I had so much inventory before quarantine came around that I was able to just sell a lot of inventory. And then plus people got stimulus checks. People are on unemployment. People are making more money now than they were making at their current job. So e-commerce as a whole, I feel like this is the industry to be in during these type of times where people are not able to go to stores. And for me, I think it's helped. We'll see in the long run, stuff might change, but as of right now, I think it did help. Let's see. How can I boost sales on eBay? So kind of like what I was saying earlier, that consistent activity within your store is always really good. Sometimes you might want to adjust your prices, switch up your photos, change your titles. You want to just keep your store active. If you have items that you want to read, that you want to list every day, say you had 5 items that you wanted to sell. Instead of listing all 5 one day, I might list 1 item each day, just so that it can be some consistent activity in my store. Outside of that, just make sure you price your items well. You price it competitively. You don't want to price it too low, because of course it'll sell, but you wouldn't be making that much money. And you don't want to price it too high, because then it will never sell. So it's a lot of things in terms of boosting sales on eBay, but it really just depends on what you're trying to sell. I get that question a lot, how to boost sales, and there's only but so much little tricks and twists you can try. Promoted listings also works for me. I do 1% on just about everything. Some items I don't promote because I don't need to promote it. I might be the only seller with it. But keep that in mind. You know what I mean? You don't want to just promote everything, and you don't want to do that trending rate, because sometimes you might just be wasting money in fees in the long run. And for me right now, I'm all about trying to save money on fees. That's why I've been focusing on trying to sell more expensive shoes. That way I wouldn't get charged a fee. Let's see. Let me go back to some of these questions. We got a lot of questions, so that's what's up. Keep them coming, y'all. How do you upload to Poshmark and eBay via app or on your desktop or iPad? What's the quickest way? The quickest way for me is actually, because before I used to use the desktop and I thought that was really quick. And I have a video on like how to cross list from Poshmark to eBay. So basically what I was doing before was just screenshotting the photos from eBay, and then I would put it on Poshmark. Now what I'm doing, since I have a work phone, it's like an old, like crappy, like iPhone 6. So what we do, since my wife takes the photos of all the listings, we use that phone and we have the eBay and the Poshmark app on the phone. So what we do is to kind of make it faster, we'll save the photos on one phone. That way we're able to list it on both platforms. And once I list the item on Poshmark, she copy and paste the information from eBay, and then she puts it on the Poshmark. So if you're a one-person team doing something like that, it's easy to just copy and paste the description. I would start with eBay, list your items on eBay, and then cross-list it to Poshmark, because the eBay listings take a little more time, but Poshmark is super, super easy to list. So once you have your photos in one space, it's easy to just transfer them. So give that a shot, and let me know what you think about that. Let's see, Redneck Resale, shout out from Small Stuff. I love the channel. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that. Okay, we got Carmen in here. Got a question. I live near a Dillard's outlet. I'm wondering if I can start offering reseller boxes for Poshmark, because this week I can buy new tag men's and junior dresses for $2. How to price? Wow, that's a good deal. The Dillard's, I know Dillard's is closing, so a lot of people are going to be able to kind of tap into Dillard's. I know I did that when the one in my area closed. With the reseller boxes, it's tricky because you're going to have to also factor in the cost of shipping with that item. With the reseller boxes. So I think you might just want to, I don't even know if to say tap into your audience, but I would probably just price it as long as you're making something. If you can price it in a way where at least you can double your money, and the person that receives it can also double their money, I think that everybody will win in that situation. But one thing that's tricky, what I experienced when I was doing reseller boxes, was that shipping costs was definitely deterring people. So keep that in mind. But just as long as you could double your money, and that person buying from you can double their money, everybody wins. Everybody feel like they won. I would say do that. However, that pricing structure means for you. Let's see. I was listing items on Poshmark yesterday, and my listing states that I have 583 listings, but it will only show one picture of my listings. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if Poshmark got some glitches. Honestly, I'm not really messing with Poshmark that much anymore. My wife really does the sharing on the Poshmark Closet and the listing and those types of stuff. And I don't remember the last time I listed something new on Poshmark, because everything I'm getting is selling faster on eBay. So I'm definitely on the fence of whether or not I'm going to continue selling on Poshmark. But it might have just been a quick glitch with Poshmark, honestly, because I know they've been doing pretty well with keeping up with like technical problems and technical support, but it might just be a glitch. So don't worry about it. I'm sure your photos are still up there, but you might just have to keep checking. Average turnaround rate for me is just a few. What is it? With your no offer mentality. Oh, okay. So like I said, I price my stuff very competitive. So like I said, if everybody's stuff is selling for $70, I price mine for 70. And it usually takes, like, the good stuff usually might take 30 days or less. Like that's as the best as I could describe it. I got some stuff that as soon as I list it, it sells, and then some stuff 2-3 days later it sells. So for me, I just try to find stuff that has a high demand. You want to sell items that a lot of people are looking for. So that way you can kind of recoup your money back faster. And for me, since I do a lot of credit card leveraging, I try to find items that sell fast. So when I show you guys what I'm picking up from Ross or what I picked up from the thrift, those are all items that usually sell pretty quickly. Sometimes it takes within 30 days. Sometimes it might take 2 months, but usually the sweet spot for me is 30 days. And unless I'm buying stuff in it for another season, sometimes I buy, like right now, I'm trying to find coats. If I can find brand new jackets and coats and boots, I'm searching for those items now. That way I can have them for the fourth quarter. But I'm listing them now if I can get it, because people are still buying winter stuff now anyway. So I always try to keep those type of things in mind. Those items might sell. It might take a few months for them to sell because it's not in season. So you want to have a balance. You want to have items that sell really fast so you can make some money back and pay your credit card off so you don't pay interest. But you also want to have some items that might have a huge return, but it might have to sit for a while. So you always want to have a balance of items. That way you can buffer some of those long tail items with what you got. Sorry, I'm late for class. I got my pen and paper ready. That's what's up. You're about to be on here for a while. Let's see. What video editing software do you use to edit your YouTube videos? All I use is iMovie. Anything you see me do outside of that, I'm literally just using iMovie. I've just started getting better with Canva to do some thumbnails. I download a lot of like green screens and stuff like that off of YouTube. So everything I got is iMovie. I'm definitely not that type of person to want to invest money into editing software, only because I'm not making that much money on YouTube. Like, I'm having fun with YouTube and I'm enjoying the conversations and stuff, the interaction. But if I was making more money off YouTube, I probably would invest more money into editing software. But iMovie works just fine. So that's how I like to keep it going. How many items do you reference for pricing? That's a good question. So, like I said, I try to find items that have a lot of sales. So if I see an item, say it's a pair of shoes, and those shoes, it's 10 active listings and 20 sold items, 20 sales. For me, that's a sign of saying that, okay, the demand on this item is pretty high and the inventory is pretty low. So something like that, I try to lock in on, and I would go just comb through all of the pricing, and I comb through the sold listings, but I try to focus on the last like 2 months. eBay will give you 90 days, but I try to focus on those last 2 months just because it's more recent, and I price it based on that. Do you think you will eventually stop selling on Poshmark? Yeah, that's the plan. I think once everything I have in my Poshmark closet sells out, I think I'll be done with Poshmark. I'm just not a fan of the sharing aspect of it. And I never really was, but at the same time, the items I was selling sold fast on Poshmark because I know the Poshmark customer, the average Poshmark customer, doesn't want to spend too much money. Every once in a while, I would have a more expensive item sell on Poshmark, but usually people on Poshmark want to spend about $30. And I have some $30 items still, but a lot of my items just cost a little more money now because I'm spending more money on them. So that's probably why I'm not seeing that much success with Poshmark like I used to, because my average sale price at one point was just about $35. Now it's closer to like 60. So I just don't have the items that the average Poshmark customer is looking for. So I might hop in there and, give it another shot. But for the most part, I'm kind of over it. And the biggest thing I forgot to say is the fact that sharing services kind of took over Poshmark. If you don't have a sharing service, if you don't have like an app or some type of bot to share your items constantly, you're kind of behind the 8 ball, because not everyone, but a lot of people on Poshmark are using bots. I get a lot of emails from people that have these sharing services and they want me to promote it, but I don't even like that type of stuff. So I'm not promoting it either. That's why you guys haven't seen me talk about any of those like sharing services on my platform yet. So I think that's probably one of the big things that's kind of messing up Poshmark, the fact that everybody's on steroids now. And those of us that, we're just sharing our closet 3-4 times a day, we're not going to benefit the same. Okay, we got a $5 super chat. I see it at the top. Keenan signing. That's what's up. Thank you very much, bro. What do you think of selling 7.5 men into 9.5 women? Well, what do I think of selling? So 7.5 in men is a 9 in women. It's 1.5. And I used to mess that up all the time, but it's 1.5 for sizing. So if I found a size 7.5 men's shoe, I'm definitely I'm gonna also put it as 9 for women. That way, if a woman was looking for it, it might pop up in search. But it's definitely 1.5. Shout out to you for that super chat, though. I definitely appreciate it. Let's see. I live in Texas. COVID cases are high right now. Do you think it will be a bad idea to sell items on eBay if I live in Texas? No, I don't think so at all. I'm in Arizona, and Arizona is probably one of the very, very high case places right now, but I'm still selling. I mean, it's one of those things where people don't necessarily, I'm not going to say people care where it's coming from. I know if it was like an international thing and you have to pay more for shipping, people would be a little more deterred about that. But people are shopping. If you have an item people want, they're going to buy it. First big question. I've sold Adidas shoes before, but I want to move into moving Adidas. The problem is I'm having trouble looking up art codes on the shoes. They don't come up usually on eBay. Use Google. I use Google for the art code, and then once I pull up the art code, then I find the name, and then I type the name in on on eBay. Excuse me. This month I bought bikini bottoms, $2, men's shorts, $5, junior dresses, $2. Crazy. So others might want a reseller box. Not sure how many items or a box price. Yeah, I mean, I would probably throw in a few of all of them, probably a mix of all of them. And as long as you can double your money, and then the person that sells them, they can double their money, I'll just give it a shot. The thing is with a lot of clothing, the problem right now, there's every store, especially those that are just opening back up from quarantine. I was on lockdown. Every state, every city is going to have huge clearance sales. So it's going to be tough moving clothing right now, because if you're a reseller and you have a Burlington in your area and everything in Burlington is 50% off, you're gonna run through Burlington and buy everything that you can get, since the prices are so cheap. So right now it might be kind of tough to kind of flip those type of stuff. I mean, honestly, you can give it a shot, put it out there and see if people bite. But if I were you, I would probably focus on just trying to sell it myself, because clothing is going to be very tough, at least for the next few months. You know what I mean? I'm glad I bought a good amount of summer clothes in the winter time, because a lot of those shorts are selling now. But I feel like right now it's just going to be tough for clothing. I might be wrong, because I know I'm not selling that much clothing anymore, but I just think reseller boxes, a lot of people might not be interested, but I don't know. Let's see. Cannot sell anything on eBay. Does not work for me. What platform do you sell on? Let me know. Thank you for all the valuable content. What was your biggest hurdle when you first transitioned to full-time flipping? I think the biggest hurdle was just me trying to, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I feel like for me, I didn't want to start a business and have one of those stories where people were saying, oh, I quit my job and then I was struggling for, 6 months before I was able to get on my feet. One thing for me is that I saved a good amount of money when I quit my job. So that way the financial aspect of it wouldn't be a worrisome thing, wouldn't be a problem. But I still put a lot of pressure on myself. I was really still trying to make sure I did good, make sure I was taking advantage of every opportunity. So that was my biggest hurdle. I think the biggest hurdle was just the self-doubt and the, being anxious about trying to make money outside of a traditional 9-to-5, because that was all I knew. I was always a hustler, but at the same time, my bread and butter was always a 9-to-5. So once you lose that, I guess, security blanket, and you just got to kind of hunt and make money for yourself, it is going to be a period of time where you're going to be doubting yourself. You're going to think, was it worth it? Was this smart? Did I just drop the ball? Should I go back to work? All of these things are going to cross your mind, but I keep telling people, just stay consistent, and you're going to be good. How do you keep up with accounting? So I hate keeping up with books and all that stuff. What I like to do, I have an Excel sheet, and it basically just keeps up with my gross sales, net sales, cost of goods, shipping costs, anything that I may have spent on the business that month. I try to just do it monthly. And since I pay everything with credit cards, it's easy to just check my statement and just input all that information. And eBay is getting better at showing net sales, gross sales, shipping costs. They're getting better at that type of stuff too. So I just try to do it once a month. That way it doesn't bog me down later on. How do you feel about auctioning your items on eBay? Auctions are tough. Auctions can be beneficial if it's an item that you're not too familiar with. So if it's an item that you check the comps on and you've seen it sell for 20 bucks here and then 150 bucks here and then 30 bucks here. So that, to me, that's a lot of wiggle room. So I might price my thing. I might start my auction off at 50 bucks, somewhere in the middle. If I make 50, I'll be happy. If it's just one bid, I'll be good. And if it sells for that price, I'll be happy. But the thing is, sometimes when you do auctions, people get buyer's remorse. So they might bid that very first day. Then 6 days later, when it's time to pay, then they're no longer interested. Then you have to put it up for auction again. So it's kind of tricky. But I think the biggest thing when you to do an auction the correct way is to just start your auction price at whatever you're comfortable with getting, even if you just get one bid. That way you can, just do well with profit. How do you keep track of all your sales and profits? Yeah, I just talked about that. Sales and profits, I just try to do that monthly on that Excel sheet. I just try to input all my numbers. And as long as I'm in the green, I'm good. When taking pictures, do you use a mannequin or do you take pictures on the floor or bed? Clothing pictures, now I just take clothing pictures on the floor. I do flat lays, but I don't pick up that much clothing anymore. So it's kind of rare. I don't think I took photos of clothing all month. It's been all shoes. And I have these two lights that's right in front of me. I make sure I have the lights set up and I take photos on like a white piece of plastic, and just so it can be a nice bright background. And that's just how I do it. I've had a mannequin in the past, but it's just too much work. So I just don't use it anymore. Just wanted to stop in and say hello. Keep up the great work. Y'all have a good night. Thank you very much. You too. Shout out to the wife. She's in here. What's going on? Let's see. For some of us, our eBay days are numbered due to the new changes coming. What do you recommend doing for someone that majorly sells clothing, shoes besides Poshmark? What do you mean the new changes? Let me know what you mean by new changes coming, because I try to keep up with the changes and stuff as well. But in terms for me, I'm not seeing eBay days being over. I think eBay is gonna continue to flourish. Tom Carlin, what's good, my guy? What's your favorite thing to sell? Shoes, favorite thing to sell. And the thing is, I don't even sell hype shoes. I don't even do shoes that are like very highly sought after stuff. I think if I was to imagine my typical customer is the person that might buy maybe 2 or 3 pairs of shoes for the year. And they might just want a simple pair of shoes from something maybe 60, 70 bucks. And I also have customers that might want to spend no more than 120, 130. I think that's my average customer. I just like to sell shoes because that's what I personally enjoy. And it just makes the day-to-day easy. Like when just going to source for items, if you like shoes and you're selling shoes, it makes it easy. You know what I mean? It don't even feel like work. It's more like an adventure every day. Let's see. What states have you sourced from besides California and Arizona? Sourcing, I definitely did some sourcing in New York. I did some sourcing in Florida. So far, the best state in terms of thrifting was Cali by far. But Arizona been good in terms of outlets and in terms of like different like Ross and Burlington and retail shops. It's been pretty good, but my favorite is probably Cali for sure. Do you think it's possible to make good money reselling shoes using online arbitrage only rather than going to the physical stores like Ross, Burlington? I think it's possible because I know there's a lot of like liquidation websites out there and other people that might have wholesale accounts that sell in reseller boxes, mystery boxes. So you can definitely do some online arbitrage doing it that way. The difference is when you're doing it in the store, like for instance, if you go to a Nike outlet, you can come up on something from the Nike outlet that was a return and it'll be an additional discount. So you already might save 20, 30, 40% off of the retail price, and that'll all be profit. When an item is online, you're competing with everybody else that's online. And I've been in this situation several times where I had something in my cart and I was trying to check out. And by the time I checked out, the item was sold to somebody else. So it's definitely possible. You just have to be super, like, you have to be on it. You have to like make that a part of your day, whether you start first thing in the morning or you're doing it all night, just trying to stay on top of new inventory and new restocks. But it's possible. You can do it for sure. Let's see. How are you doing with your yearly goals? So far, we are definitely not on track. Now, I'm not gonna say we're not on track. The goal was $300,000 in sales this year. If the fourth quarter plays out the way I'm imagining it to play out, we will hit the goal. I just need to make sure that I'm staying consistent with sourcing and I'm staying consistent with just finding really good stuff, because you can source at Ross all day and sell $20 golf shoes and make a couple bucks. You can do that all day, but I'm really trying to hone in on the sourcing. That way I'm getting items that bring in some really, really good profit. But I think with COVID happening and outlets closing and a lot of retail stores closing for so long, it definitely slowed down some of the momentum. So my plan is just to really pick things up between quarter 3 and quarter 4. In quarter 4, I'm like really just planning. If we do 100,000 in sales, for $100,000 in sales in the fourth quarter alone, that's what I'm imagining for it to happen. But so far, I'm not gonna say it's impossible to hit the goal, but I just think COVID definitely kind of threw a wrench in the plans, because we wasn't able to get as much inventory as I would have liked to get. But I'll keep you guys updated. Second big question: I need a good tax person familiar with eBay, because it's a mess and a ton to keep up with. I'll be in the same boat, because I'm planning on getting a house at the end of this year, and I need a tax person too. So if anybody's in the chat that got a good tax person, drop that in the comment section in the live stream, so me and Will could contact those people. I know I need a tax person real bad, because like I said, I need to close on this house, and in order for my taxes to be straight, I'm gonna need to, in order for me to get this house, my taxes got to be straight. So that's one big thing I know I'm also looking for. Changes in terms of managed payments. All right, so what, in terms of managed payments, I don't see those changes happening badly. I don't see it affecting us negatively. I could be wrong. Drop some comments and let me know your thoughts on managed payments. But for me, I see it as a good thing, only because we won't have to deal with PayPal. I know maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I had problems where I needed to contact eBay, and then eBay told me I need to contact PayPal, and PayPal told me I need to contact eBay. So I'm glad there's going to be under one roof. I know a lot of people was kind of wary about eBay having their bank account information, but I have a business bank account, and anytime you have a bank account, and especially a business bank account, if there's anything going on with your money and you have a good relationship with your bank, you should be straight. You shouldn't be nervous about anything like that. So, and the good thing is too, eBay did like this test run with managed payments for like a year. So I knew if you were to sign up for managed payments prior to them on like rolling it out to everybody, I know a lot of people was talking about sometimes they didn't receive their money, sometimes orders got delayed. Like it was a lot of different problems with managed payments when it was in their testing phase, but I think they got the kinks out. So for me, at least, I'm not nervous about it. I'm not worried. I'm just that type of person. Like for me, if changes happen, I just adjust, because in business, the only thing that we can depend on is that for a fact there's going to be a change that's going to happen. So for me, I just roll with the changes. If we have to do managed payments, I guess that's what we're going to have to do and adjust as we go. So it's going to be some ups and some downs, but at the most part, for the most part, I think we're going to see, similar sales, similar situations. It might be some stuff that you might have to adjust and kind of tinker with, but I think we should be good. Do you experience scammers often on eBay? No, I don't experience. Scammers usually prowl on new sellers. So sellers with like 0 feedback or 2 feedback, usually those are the ones that people try to scam. They try to send you stuff like, oh, I'll pay you through PayPal for this item, or I'll cash app you money, or send me your phone number, stuff like that. I've had a few buyers that try to like swindle me and stuff like that, and it happens. It's just part of business. But in terms of like constantly getting scammed, I've had more negative experiences on Poshmark than I've had with eBay, and I've been selling on eBay since 2008. I've only been selling on Poshmark for maybe a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And the amount of sellers that sent me items not as described or sent me an item that was completely the wrong item, like the amount of times that happened to me in a short amount of time is crazy. And I just think that's attributed to the fact that Poshmark is so simple that anybody can do it. And people don't view it as a business model. People just view it as, oh, I'm selling, I'm getting rid of my old stuff. Who cares what my reputation is online, as opposed to eBay, where if once you're selling on eBay, you're trying to build up that rapport with buyers, and it's just a different customer base, and it's also a different selling experience, if that makes sense. So that's just my thoughts on it. Do you miss the East Coast resale game? I know you are a New York guy, and I know that I found the game out west a bit tougher. Honestly, people in New York that resell, I'm not gonna say it's easier. I know they have access to like Supreme and certain sample sales, and that makes it that much better. But I think it all depends on the person. I'm one of those type of people. You put me anywhere, and I'm gonna figure out how to make some money. But some people, they need to be in New York to flourish, or they need to be in LA to flourish. And, other people like us that have, hustlers mentality. Everybody on this live show right now is a hustler because we all talking about business. But those of us that share that mentality, we can be anywhere and we're going to figure it out. But some people, they get so accustomed to only selling, Supreme, or only selling the things in New York that you can only get in New York. Once they put them in a new environment and they have to pivot, they're not able to do that. So everybody's different. Nevada too. Yes, we definitely did. Yes, we did some sourcing in Nevada. We went to Vegas. We used to go to Vegas kind of often. So the last time we went, I remember I bought some suits for myself that was custom made suits, and they fit me. So I was hyped. So Vegas was good too. Let's see. What's your advice for someone that's during the day for flipping shoes from Ross? I get off at 3 and all the shoes be gone. Yeah, that's the toughest part. I really don't got no advice for you, because I try to go early. And for me, I've realized the earlier I go, the better off I am, because I know a lot of like Ross stores in Burlington to some degree, Marshalls to some degree, they're starting to restock at a crazy rate. They're getting shipments in every day, and they're getting tons and tons of stuff. Somebody on a previous video had mentioned that they went to Ross and they were talking to one of the workers, and the workers were telling them that they have so much inventory in the back that they don't even have space on the floor for it. So I know I'm not the only person in my area that's going to Ross trying to buy stuff. So I just try to go as often as possible. I might go twice because it's 2 or 3 in my area. So I might go early one day, and if I realize they didn't restock, I might wait a while and I might head back and just to try to figure out what time they're doing it. So your best bet is probably to go on your lunch break. If you can go in the morning, sometimes I think they open at like 10. If you can go or squeeze your lunch break in, go then. But earlier the better, because every city got people just like me that's gonna go to Ross and buy up all the good stuff. And sometimes I leave stuff behind, but just to show people, like, if you was too late. I purposely do that. Like, I'll leave one thing in a terrible size just so you know you was late. Have you considered any free selling formats like Mercari or 5 Miles? I've never heard of 5 Miles, but I am thinking of Mercari, but I've never heard of 5 Miles. That sounds like an Uber app. Let's see. The managed payments killed my old store. I signed up, didn't get paid for 3 weeks. It was a huge store, over 2,000 feedback. I definitely want to go back to manage. It was terrible. I had to start over. Hopefully they changed everything, because I know managed payments had a lot of kinks. And I was telling people even back then that were asking me if they should sign up. What I always tell people is when a industry or something in tech has something brand new that they're rolling out, think about it like Apple. When Apple has new updates, they usually need another update 2 weeks later because there's a problem with that initial update. So for me, I'm never like the first person to hop on the newest things or the newest updates, because it usually comes with problems. So I knew intentionally like not to sign up for that managed payments, because I knew they were going to be essentially using us as test dummies, guinea pigs, and I knew that wasn't gonna play out. But of course, thankfully, there were so much people that did sign up. eBay was able to work out the kinks. So thank you for your service for signing up, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna have everything back on in good for us now. How do you stay current with the ever-changing fashion trends, or do you just buy what you like? Yeah, for me, I just buy what I like. I don't keep up with trends. I buy a lot of simple, classic stuff that you can just always wear. For me, fit is always most important. So I try to pay attention to fit. But in terms of reselling clothing, when that was my main thing and I was focused on clothing, I used to just do a lot of research, keep up with different fashion websites, WWD and GQ, and all these different fashion websites that'll tell you what the new trends are, what colors are trending for what season. And I would try to keep up with that. But since I'm not really doing clothing like that no more, I just wear what I like. Have you thought about sourcing from Canada? No, I definitely didn't think about that. I'm more so worried about shipping costs, the additional costs for doing something like that. Managed payments has improved. eBay worked out the kinks. You now have the options of taking payments weekly or daily, random payments. You no longer have to wait weeks. See, so that's what I'm talking about. I knew for a fact that managed payments at first was going to be a problem, but the goal for eBay was always to separate from PayPal eventually. So they want this to work more than we want it to work. They have to make this work. So hopefully all the kinks is gone. How many listings do you like to maintain on your store? Or are you looking to add more? Right now, I got a little over than 300 listings, but I have so many doubles and triples. Like I sell a lot of multiples. So I think the overall store has maybe 500 plus items in it, but it's only 300 like active listings. And I try to stay around that 300 mark. Right before quarantine came around and like everything was on lockdown, I was like really growing the store to the point where I had like maybe 400 active listings, and it was like 600 listings altogether. And I'm still trying to build up the inventory to get back to where I was. So for me, like I said, I just try to find items that sell fast. That way I don't have to necessarily worry about keeping a bunch of inventory. And my big thing too is I try to focus on profit margins as opposed to just items sold. You know what I mean? I know a lot of us get caught up in Poshmark pictures of people showing a bunch of boxes, but their profit was probably $10. And for me, I try to just focus on the hard numbers. Let's see. Everybody hit that like button. Yes, please hit the like button for your boy. It definitely helps the channel out for sure. Hit that like button. I've been on managed payments for almost a year and I love it. The fees shake out about the same and everything is all in one place. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad to hear that because I know a lot of people are nervous about it, but like I said, maybe I'm just always super positive about stuff, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be good now. My death pile is overwhelming. What to do? Break it down slowly. You know what I mean? One thing to do is definitely don't try to list everything in one day. When the quarantine was first happening and lockdown was like in its height, I was just trying to list 5-6 things a day. I had a death pile that was huge. I had a whole shelf of items I was just sitting on because I wasn't like excited to list it. So every day I would just chip away at it every day. And I still have a few items and I'm just chipping away at it slowly. But it's just one of those things that'll kind of keep your store fresh. You keep updating it slowly but surely. And before you know it, you won't even have a death pile no more. A lot of people call it money piles though, just to be safe. Money piles. TheRaymondFinancial.com is good. I'm gonna look into that for sure. Let me make sure I copy that one. The Raymond. Make sure I keep that one on deck. Thank you for letting me know that. Let's see how take you to reach to a point where you were able to make enough money to live off of without using your savings. Just about maybe 6 or 7 months. The first few months I was literally just paying everything off with savings. My bills and everything was just off of my savings. And once I started making more money, I just kept putting it back in. So it wasn't until maybe 5-6 months where I was like, okay, I'm actually seeing some real money and I'm not just like, not necessarily calling it breaking even, but I'm making enough money where I feel comfortable. And for everybody's different, but I was living in California where my rent was $2,400 a month. So it was definitely like that constant urge of like feeling stressed out. How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to pay the bills? And slowly but surely it worked out. Let's see. I'm international, baby. My Ross be looking like an anorexic. Yo, that's crazy. Ross is booming right now in a lot of states, but some states Ross they didn't get anything yet. So just be patient because I know for a fact Ross is gonna start restocking everywhere. Let's see, my Ross they put out shoes 1 hour before close. Even leave the cart on the floor stacked for pickers to dig through. Wow, that's crazy. That's what's up. 1 hour before close. So yeah, as long as you know that, you'll be good to grab everything up. You're right about people not buying clothes at the moment. Birthing books have been doing well for me. They buy them in the bundles and kids' toys and educational games. Yeah, that's a good market to sell right now because I wouldn't know about birthing books. I'm sure after quarantine, there's going to be a lot of quarantine babies, so that's probably why people buying those books. But I know kids' toys, educational games. All these kids are home. They're getting homeschool now, so that is going to be huge. And fourth quarter is when kids' toys and games is flying off the shelf. So if you can get your hands on more of those, like a good amount of inventory of that, and sell it during fourth quarter, you can even get more money. You can even price it up 10, 20% and make more. My Ross always look empty or picked over. You might be getting there too late. You really might be getting there a little too late. I notice people like me in every city that's grabbing up everything. Let's see. How do you find out about the special sale days at Ross, Burlington? You get email notifications. I don't really know if there's sale days. I know Ross, they always tell me if an item sits on the shelf for longer than a month, they usually would drop the price. I don't know how true that is because I've seen certain shoes and certain clothing sit there forever. Excuse me, but it's one of those things where I don't get email notifications about sales. I usually get notifications from like YouTube. I know what is her name, the coupon lady from Orlando Coupon Queen. I know she does a lot of like Ross videos, and if there's a sale coming up, she'll always do a video. So I get updated from other people on YouTube. Do you know if the eBay algorithm rewards you for listing more? And if so, what other things can you do to get yourself higher on the algorithm? I know for a fact they do reward you for listing more. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but the days that I'm listing a lot of stuff, like if I got 100 items to list, so that one day I list 20, so I can list out have a good amount of items to list later on in the week. Guaranteed, if I list some 20 items in a day, I will always get at least 3 to 4 sales. It never fails. Now I don't know if that's just a coincidence every time or if they're pushing some of my items to the top of the search. Who knows? But I know for a fact if you feed the beast, which is eBay, you will definitely get rewarded. Did you hear about the eBay executives that cyber tortured a husband and wife online and got arrested for it a week ago? Yeah, I heard briefly about it, but I didn't catch all the details. I didn't. I think I seen it on somebody's channel. They were talking about it, but they didn't go into too much detail. And I was supposed to read it for myself, and I forgot about it. So yeah, I don't know. eBay execs. I know it was the former president or the former CEO that was involved, but outside of that, I couldn't tell you nothing else. How do you keep your inventory organized? So when I do a lot of my videos, that shelf that I'm like, that's one side of my inventory room. So right now we have a decent amount of space in here. So one room is solely for inventory, and it's a room and a walk-in closet. So I try to just divvy it up. The walk-in closet is where I hold more of the used clothing and the used shoes. And that room that you guys usually see me filming in is the inventory room. So I have everything on shelves and I keep everything in totes. And some of the loose items, I have that on a separate shelf. So I don't have a fancy inventory system at all, especially since I'm selling shoes. I just need to see the size and the name of the shoe. So for me, like that wall has a lot of those brand new shoes in the bin, has the brand new shoes on the wall behind me, and the wall in front of me has a lot of the totes that have shoes from Ross that don't have boxes. Very simple system. It probably can become a little better and nicer, but it works for me right now. Let's see. I keep reviving offers with people asking me to text them about the item with their number. I keep declining them because it seems like a scam. Is it normal or am I declining true offers? I mean, I know anytime somebody asks me to text them, that usually only happened on Poshmark. So I think you're doing good by declining it because that could be a headache or some type of scam later on. Let's see. I'll give you guys one big secret. Puzzles. Get them at Walmart, Target, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. It's good. It's popping good. Free knowledge. That's what's up. I know puzzles do well, but I remember I tried to get into the puzzle game for a little while, and I just wasn't. I wasn't killing it. I know I was selling very few of them, but I'm gonna give it a shot. If it's working for you, it might work for me. You never know. I live in Southern California. What should I start reselling for my first time in this current time? Southern California, what should you start? Start with the stuff you got in your closet. Just start with whatever you have around the house. That way you don't lose any money. That way you don't buy anything that won't move. Just start with what you got in the house. You might try it for a few weeks and you might think reselling, you might see videos and see and think to yourself, reselling is easy. But once you start doing it for yourself, you might not be interested in it. You might realize it's a lot more work than you thought it was. And you might, want to do it. So if you start with just the clothes in your house, the shoes in your house, any electronics that you might have, like old cameras, old phones, start by selling that because those things sell. And then from there, then you can kind of graduate into, garage sales, thrift stores, and some of the other stuff like that. Let's see. How do you feel about reselling rubber gloves, sanitizer, and masks? I've avoided it until now, but it's an easy double up. Yeah, that's just not my game. I don't criticize people for doing that, but I just know that's not my wheelhouse. I don't even feel comfortable doing stuff like that because people are buying these type of masks and hand sanitizers because they want to feel, safe, and they want to feel like they're doing their part. So for me, I don't feel good reselling that type of stuff. I sell shoes because people don't necessarily need shoes, but if you want a good pair of shoes, I'll give it to you for a good deal. But hand sanitizers and the gloves, I remember hearing the one guy that bought out a whole store full of hand sanitizer, then Amazon banned him from selling it, then he started giving it away. So it's one of those things for me where it's just like, I just try not to do stuff like that. I feel like it makes me feel weird. You know what I mean? But if somebody else doing it and they making their bread, do what you do. But for me, I don't really like it. Do you list your winter gear during this time? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you got some good coats and you can put them up today, put it up today because it's cold somewhere. How much do you have to sell in order to receive a 1099 form from eBay? The 1099, I believe it's $20,000 in sales or 100 transactions. I'm not exactly sure, but if you go to eBay or just Google eBay 1099 form, I believe it's 20,000 in sales or 100 transactions. One or the other. Puzzles don't do well for me. Yeah, puzzles. I had one puzzle that was sitting in my inventory for like, I think 6 years. Not 6 years. I'm like 6 months, and I finally got an offer on it, and it was like a low ball offer, and then I lowered the price, and I just kept lowering the price until it finally sold. So Tim Doyle says both. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. It's both. So it's 20,000 and 100 transactions. Let's see. My 1099 was 5,600 from eBay. Yeah, 5,600. That's good money right there. My puzzles go crazy, but you have to know what you're looking for. Thomas Kincaid. I'm gonna keep that in mind. My Prada boot sold in the summer. List your check. Yeah, you gotta list it. You never know. Like I've sold big heavy leather jackets in the middle of summer, and people look for these type of stuff because they know they might be able to get it for a better deal now as opposed to waiting in the winter time. So that's why I say if you can get it now, just if you can list it now. And it might be a long waiting game, but at the same time, especially if you're talking about eBay gave us 50,000 free listings until I believe the end of July or the beginning of July. Not sure if it's the end or beginning, but I've been trying to take full advantage. So anything I had laying around the house, the same advice I give you guys, I've used that advice myself. If I had something old that I wasn't using, like older camera equipment that I had, I was just letting it go, and it was selling really fast. So definitely want to do that. What are the top 5 items or brands that increases your sales? So my brands are very simple. As of right now, majority is Adidas, then Nike, then Random Electronics. So I don't really have like brands for that. Maybe like Bose is a good brand that sells really fast. and like older camera stuff that I can find in the thrift store. Cool always sells pretty quick for me. That's KUHL. That's really it. Also, I think I only got like 4. I get it on the gloves. I ain't gonna do it. I can't find much of it anyway. Yeah, I feel you. Do you ever source from a liquidation site? Is it good? It's definitely good, but you gotta be on top of it. If the people that source from liquidation websites, that's how they source. They don't go to stores. They buy everything online. So when they see deals, they're on top of it, and they have a certain budget that they're willing to spend. So for you, you might try to get it at a deal, but for them, they don't care. They're gonna make sure they get it because that's how they source. So since I'm not in that realm of like liquidation sales and stuff like that, I don't necessarily mess with those sites. I feel like if I live somewhere where locally I couldn't get good things, I would have to play that game. But thankfully, my area has some good places to source, so I don't do it. But you definitely just got to stay on top of it. Liquidation.com, for example, if you're not like constantly up with it, and then you set like a good alarm, that way when the auction is ending. If you're not on top of that, you're gonna lose. So that's one thing for sure. How much money of total inventory do you hold on average, and what is your highest? On average, probably about like 35 to 40,000 on average. The highest, I think, maybe 40, maybe 45. I haven't really thought about that, but I know when you go into your eBay store, you always see like how much inventory you have, and I got about 50,000, something like that. If you can capture some of the Sahara dust that's covering the lower part of, bro, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, it's until the end of June. All right, that's what it was. Let's see. Can you use 2 different accounts on the eBay app? I'm having issues. I have a business and a personal. 2 different accounts. I think you can. I think you can have like several different eBay stores. I don't know about the app though. I'm not sure, but I know for a fact you can have different eBay stores and you can have different accounts. But in terms of using it on the app, I'm not sure. Are you going to upload a video today or just going to do a stream? I was waiting for the video. I've been trying to go crazy with the videos. I've been trying to like just crank them out. But today I was actually doing like consultation calls today. And I was also doing a lot of sourcing earlier today too. So I didn't have time to put the video out. But that's something new. Like people are actually asking for consultations to get their feet going with eBay and just e-commerce as in general. So that's dope. It's definitely not something I'm gonna be promoting and like hit me up for consultation calls because I know I don't have that type of time. It might be something I try to focus on later on, but I mean I spent a decent amount of time doing that today, so that was dope. Over the past couple of weeks, it's been crazy. People just been reaching out, so that's dope. Also, does the free 50 listings thing happen every? I guess you mean every month, because I started reselling this month and I thought the 50 free listings was normal every month. Yeah, it's 50 free listings every month. But the thing is, you still have to pay fees once the item sells. It's just free to list the item. But once the item sells, they're gonna hit you with a final value fee. So still expect an invoice from eBay. Ever use multiple eBay accounts to ghost buy items to raise the price so it lists prior higher sales? Now I never even thought of doing that. That's pretty smart. I never even thought of doing that. Let's see. How do taxes work on eBay aside from the 10% final value fee? So taxes, basically once you get your 1099 or whatever like that, you if you have a regular job and you're used to getting W-2s, 1099 is very similar. You just give it to your tax person and they handle it that way. I don't know if I necessarily answered the question, but that's usually just what it is. They'll send it to you at the end of the year. Not the end of the year. They usually send it to you like middle of January when tax season, once the year is actually complete, then that's when they usually send it to you. Let's see. I think that's all the questions we got. If anybody else got any other questions, you could hit me with the questions now. But for the most part, I think that's all we got for today. Let's see. Thanks for the advice regarding consignments. It's not worth it unless you're getting 50%. It's a lot of work. Yeah, consignment shops is kind of tough. And doing consignment with friends and family and stuff like that is kind of tough too. That's why I don't do it. I just don't like mixing, friends and family type of relationships with business. Usually it doesn't work out too well. But I still try to go to consignment shops every now and then, like Buffalo Exchange. At first I was thinking Buffalo Exchange might not last, but it seems like they still get inventory. People are getting, I guess, acclimated to that new Buffalo Exchange process of them like taking 3 to 4 days to actually sort through your stuff and buy stuff. So I guess it's still working, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. If I'm 16, do I need to pay taxes? I do not know. I don't know. That's a good question. I think you don't need to pay tax till 18, but I don't know if you're even allowed to sell. I don't know. I really don't know. I have no clue. I wish I had the answer for you. But if you see, I would think not, because you would need to be 18 to start paying taxes. But I don't know. Let's see. Nicole State shield bid on her old account to create hype and attract investors. That is fraud. Pretty much destroyed her business. Damn, that's messed up. Well, it is what it is. Have your mom account buy some shoes for 100 local pickup, then resell 150. Luke Skywalker. Thank you for keeping up. Let's see. Great talk. Loved it. Looking forward to next week. I'll be here, no doubt. Thanks for the video. I enjoyed watching them. Your intros are on point. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you use Facebook Marketplace? Because I heard a lot of people saying too much people are sleeping on Facebook Marketplace and it's underrated. I do think it's underrated. I think it's a good place to source, but I was telling you guys earlier, I do a lot of credit card leveraging because I feel like cash is eventually, to me, cash is obsolete. I like using credit cards. That way I can build up, my rewards points for flights and other stuff. So I like using cash for everything. When you're doing sourcing locally and you got to pay cash or, Cash App, whatever you want to do, it's not the same. You can't leverage your credit the same way. So for me, that's why I don't do it. But I know it's underrated because people are getting steals on there, and most people just want, that. Some people enjoy that haggling back and forth, like they like that negotiation thing in person. So it's definitely a good thing if you enjoy that, definitely go for it. What's a good camera to start with for vlogging? I would probably say that Canon M50 with that flip screen so you can see yourself. I think that new Canon M50 is probably one of the best right now. It's I think it's like $800. Facebook Marketplace is very underrated, but beware of people wasting your time. Absolutely. People will waste your time on those type of apps, especially Craigslist. It's tough, but people are going to waste your time on every local thing, whether it's Let Go or Facebook Marketplace. Anytime you're dealing with other people, you could face wasting your time. Let's see. You pay taxes when you are born, no exempt. If you make more than the standard deduction, 12,500. Yeah, I would think that, but then again, it's like I know I'm not a big tax person, so I didn't even want to give my man the wrong answer over there. I didn't want to tell him no, and then he just started getting crazy. So I don't know. I live in New York City, and when we was hit with the pandemic, I had people buying like crazy. So keep uploading and stay focused no matter what. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the big thing. I definitely needed to step away for a little while off of YouTube and just kind of set up a new game plan. And during that time is when I really just focused on getting in the best shape possible. I really just had so much free time because I wasn't running to different stores every day. So I really just did a lot of home workouts. I was doing T25. I lost about 15 pounds. Now I'm in the best shape I've been in since like freshman year of college. Like I'm feeling great, and just the motivation kind of picked back up. That's why you guys are seeing so much videos, because I'm highly motivated. And when you're in a highly motivated space and you're like in a really creative space, you got to take full advantage of it while you're in it, because motivation is fleeting, and it's one of those things it's like a roller coaster. You could feel like amazing and have all the motivation, and then one day you don't feel like doing nothing. So for me, I've been riding this wave and it's been working out. So I'm gonna just keep it going. Thumbs up, fam, no doubt. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping up with your YouTube presence. For my money, you are the one guy who is relevant to my situation. You're the only guy I can relate to. Thanks again. Thank you. That's what's up. Being relatable is important for me. And I just think, I mean, it's dope that I'm in the situation where I'm like sharing these types of stuff, because a lot of people, they wait to share when they've already made it. Like I can say that from, from experience, just from people that, I'll give an example, like somebody that's in fitness. They don't show their before stuff until they're in shape and they look great. So for me, I just wanted to start sharing the journey so you guys can see all the ups, all the downs. And that way I can look back at some of my old videos and be like, oh, I remember when my hair was mad short and I was telling people how to get on the Poshmark. And now a year later, I'm not even on Poshmark, hair a little longer now. Just showing people, how it is in business, because business is always going to be constant changes, constant ebbs and flows. And, I'm just trying to document it. Can you do a video step-by-step eBay setup? I really don't know how to. Please, thank you. Love your videos. I think it's so many of those like eBay setups and like the step-by-step. That's why I never did one. I think it's a lot of that type of content out there already. So you can find it, but I think if anything, like that's probably why people are kind of hitting me up about those like consultation calls, because they don't necessarily want to sift through the hundreds and thousands of videos. They just want to get straight to the point. But for me, it's like I'd rather talk to somebody for about an hour and get that done, as opposed to trying to make a video. Because me doing a step-by-step video for eBay, I know I'm gonna forget something. So that's why I didn't want to do it. Everybody has to pay taxes no matter what the age if you make over the minimum. All right, there it is. Now you know. Everybody got to pay taxes. Nobody's exempt. Everybody got to pay. Love credit card, never paid interest, and went to Europe twice on points. Absolutely. First time I went to Europe, when me and my wife went to Italy, we went, and I think I probably spent a little bit of money, but for the most part, it was all on reward points. So that's why I love credit card leveraging. And the best way to do it is to make sure that you're not paying any interest, you're not paying any late fees. And the thing is, that's why I focus on buying items that sell fast. That way, even if I didn't sell everything that I purchased that month, that I'm still able to, pay off my credit card statement in full. And the two things you always want to remember when it comes to credit cards is that there's a due date and there's a statement date. So even if you're not able to fully pay off your bill, by the statement date, it's usually like 4 to 5 days in between. So you can pay your due date as much as you can. That's more than the minimum. And then once it gets closer to that statement date, you can also put a little more on it, pay it off in full by then. So that's just a little gem that, I learned from somebody that had a lot more knowledge on credit cards than me. So I just figured I'd share that with y'all. I made a killing on OfferUp on swimming pool filters. What? My man selling everything. Swimming pool filters. That's what's up. That's what's up. Because I know in Arizona, everybody got a pool out here. So that's smart. Bro, bought something on Mercari, and as soon as I listed on OfferUp, it was going out of my house in 30 minutes. Local sales are hot. That's what's up. I might try the local sales thing. I know for me, I don't like haggling with people. And as soon as you say, my price is firm, $50, this is it. They pull up to the house. Oh, I'll give you 40 right now. What no. And that always happens. Always waste of time. So that's why I haven't been on it, but I'll give it a shot. I went to school in Phoenix in the day. I didn't know it could actually get up to 120. Yeah, it gets hot. 118, 115, that's normal. It's hot out here. For sure. You're truly inspiring. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hey, my man, Ben. Hold on, y'all. Stick with your boy. This battery died, but we are still here, so give me a minute. All right, hold on. We still here, y'all. Yeah, thank y'all for sticking with your boy, but we here. It was good meeting you at Arizona Mills, Ross, a couple days ago. Thanks for the info on leveraging credit. No doubt, no problem. I think for me, it's like one of those things where when I see people that follow the channel, it's like, of course, y'all know me and I don't know y'all, but it's like, for me, it's like, oh, I'm meeting people that have been rocking with the channel. So one thing I was telling my wife this, one thing that's crazy is that one day we was in the airport and we seen this guy And why is there this box on my face? Hold on. I think it might be better now. But anyway, we seen this guy, and he was I guess he was a drummer or something. And a fan came up to him and gave him a compliment, showed him some love. And the guy acted like he was like so big and so famous. He was like, "Oh, thanks," and like kind of shrugged the guy off. So for me, anytime I come across people that, follow the channel, actually say something to me and let me know that like they know who I am, it's always love. I encourage people, if you see me, stop me, let me know what's up. And you show me love, I show love back. For me, that's super important. Let's see. Thank you for sharing thank you. You are the best at sharing resale info. You cut to the chase, no fooling around. That's what's up. Thank you. I hope that the new eBay managed payments when you accept the offer, the people. I hope that's the new game plan, and I'm pretty sure that is the new game plan. So that whole buying an item without having to pay for it, I hope that's a thing of the past. Where we about to eat at? All right, y'all. That's the key. That is the code word. My wife is letting me know that time is up. So I appreciate y'all for joining in on the live chat today. I'm about to go get some food. Y'all already seen the message. So I'll do this every Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Usually stick on here for about an hour. So if you guys got any questions throughout the week, hop in on the show or drop a comment. And before you go, make sure you hit that like button for me, because it definitely helps the channel grow and gets out to more people. And I appreciate y'all, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.